Once, Arunagiri Yogeshwara, my guru, gave me an instruction and then he asked, will you do it? I was shocked. I immediately folded my hands and said, you are God, you are Shiva. How can I not do what you say? He laughed and said, no, only if you know I am the guru who is going to make you experience God, you need to listen to me. Understand? The most powerful cognition is God is guru to make you realize you are God. Only then you will achieve enlightenment. Guru is the manifest form of Paramashiva. Paramashiva is unmanifest source of Guru.
Nithyananda, welcome back. Sorry for the technical glitch. So we'll now be playing just a short clip on what is the experience that my pre-monastic parents went through as Swamiji blessed me into this lifestyle of sannyas. Let's hear from them directly.
Shall I share? I'll tell you one thing. When we see my daughter, we got 5 sisters and he got 5 sisters. Everything, we took marriage. We conducted all the marriages, everything. From the childhood, anything with a good gift or anything which is very nice, I'll keep it for our marriage. We can keep it a big box. I'll collect everything for our marriage. Not even a small thing I eat. If it's very nice, I'll bring it for my children, and for them, I'll give the happiness what they have. I'll share it. When suddenly, all of a sudden, it is taking away everything from me and nothing is happening what I thought. I too thought, why it is happening like this? What we did? Every temple I'll go and cry. Why? What mistake I have done? What mistake I have done? Why you took from my soul, from me, and I'm just a body here? What? You just tell me every temple, every astrologer I'll go and ask. When we attended Swamiji's satsang or when we met Swamiji in IA, he made me to cry and put me in such a way. He said, somebody told something not for them, but he took that pain to me, and he said in a big crowd, wow, who is telling about her? She is my daughter. Nobody else can say anything to her. She is my daughter. When he said that, I got the answer that what is this happening? What I was just roaming around here and there in all the temple, everywhere. What happened to me? What happened? Why? When he took both, this is the purpose is happening. This is the answer. I got it. I was searching answer everywhere. Swamiji gave an answer. I cried and just melted down there. Then everything went away from me. And it is only Swamiji. He saw me, and through the God, he is doing the Swamiji. And at that time, I become completed. I didn't feel that she is away from me. She's away from me. I feel that she's always with me. Swamiji is always with me. Whatever happened, I just telling to this Nadaraja, and I'm just talking to Swamiji and Nadaraja. Then now all my outside world, everything went away. I didn't have any pleasure outside to search. Inside me, I got all the things. Now I feel that I'm completed. I don't want any external pressure to make me happy. The internal thing itself, I'm so happy and blissful. Now I feel that I wanted to leave now itself because I'm very blissed. I don't want anything from outside world to make me happy. This she gave with a sannyas life. With this answer, I got it. And this is the one I got it from Swamiji.
And when my pre-monastic parents, actually Swamiji took care of their completion. Swamiji did everything. He completed my pre-monastic father, he completed my pre-monastic mother, made them understand the purpose and the reason for Sonia. Swamiji actually spent 1 hour when they had actually come once to the monastery. Swamiji sat with my pre-monastic parents, explained to them for 1 hour what is it that we need to do for Hinduism and what is required. And they felt, oh God, this is what is such a divine mission. And they felt so happy that their daughter is deciding to be a part of this divine mission. And Swamiji actually took care of everything. And at the end of the inner awakening, when my father went up on the stage to share his experience of inner awakening, to my absolute amazement, he took the mic and he said, Swamiji, I have only one daughter, but I wish I had more daughters so I could give all of them to you. From where they were actually not being ready to be able to accept that sannyas lifestyle because they felt the daughter was, choosing something which they don't know. From that, Swamiji completed them to a point where my pre-monastic father said, I wish I had more daughters so I could have given all of them to Swamiji. This is what he shared at the end of his inner awakening in Varanasi in 2015. And not just that, Swamiji blessed my pre-monastic home to become a temple of Kailasa. So the temple of Kailasa in Tambram was inaugurated in my pre-monastic home and was being maintained and run with the blessings of Swamiji from the year 2015. So almost 6 years over, they are now staying into their 7th year. They have been running the temple in the main living room of the house. They have this beautiful temple of Nataraja, Shivagami and Swamiji's deity in the house. And Swamiji had blessed them with that. Swamiji said, I myself will be there in your house and I myself will be a son to you. So literally Swamiji has lived with them over the past 6 years. And in Swamiji's own words, Swamiji said, my gurus gave me deities and those deities became a home temple. That home temple became a guru's ashram. And from that guru's ashram came the Ramakrishna Peetham, the first Kailasa in Erode. So Swamiji said, it is from home temples a country is born and a Hindu nation is born. It all starts from home temple. And he had blessed my pre-monastic parents with a beautiful home temple of Nataraja, Shivagami and Swamiji's Murti, literally experiencing and living in that energized space of a temple for more than 6 years. So just a short clip of what experience that they have had having a temple, a Kailasa in their own house. Parents, you have a temple in the house. How did it happen? You have literally Sadashiva living with you, a temple in the living place of where you are. So how did the temple happen and what kind of experience you are having by having a temple there? Why don't you share that?
Suddenly, this temple we never expected, but that place where the temple is now, every puja, everything happened from her childhood. Even her birthday celebrated in the same place. Every home, others, relations, all the good things that happened in the same place. When Yanatma only took the initiative to bring the temple here, we didn't even know. Sudden one fine morning, Nataraja, everything is coming and sitting in there. We never thought it is going to happen. Immediately, Swamiji has blessed it. The Shiva energy will be vibrating here, not only for them, whoever enters in the hall. Whoever enters in the hall, Nataraja and every Shiva energy will be passing on to them through me. Then we thought, this is what is, but we more than that, whoever enters, they feel this hall is vibrating with Shiva energy. And every now and then, we didn't have anything else. I'll just sit in front of him. Previously, I used to do chanting, lot of mantra, lot of slogas, everything. Now everything is gone. I'll just sit in front of Nataraja. Whatever I do, I'll sit in front of Nataraja, just listening his song. The hall itself started becoming like what I can say, it's a vibrating God's energy here. And Swamiji is two ways. We could see Swamiji every now and then. Nothing else now we needed. Nothing else we want anything in the world in this now. Everything happened. I feel thank you for Swamiji and Yanatma's energy only is happening here. So we didn't feel much that she's away from us. She's inside us. Now she's only extended. Previously, I used to think she's away from us. Somebody has took it from me. And I used to feel very sad when I go to the ashram for anything, I just see her where she's going. I will be saying, not even listening one word. Now I won't even see her, anything, but nothing will happen. We feel happy that she's there. The only completion has happened in me. And what about you?
Yeah, as far as myself is concerned, most of the Swamiji's devotees as well as the newcomers, the moment they enter into the house, they feel some sort of vibration in their body. But I could not experience the same. Then I asked myself why. Then suddenly a story comes to my mind. A Brahmin lady is married to a fisherman. And the moment she enters into the fisherman's cove, the fish smell was so adamant that she could not able to, she could not able to tolerate it. Then said, hey, what is this? Is there so much of bad smell is there? Then over a period of time, she was accustomed with that smell. Then she told that, see, as a Brahmin lady, the moment I entered, I drive away all the bad smell. Like that. Having in and around the Swamiji, we could not able to feel the vibration within ourselves. But it is there, but we could not able to realize. We are more or less in the same space of the Brahmin lady who feels that just because we arrived, that smell has gone out. It is not so. We could not able to realize it, but it is still there.
Wonderful. So It was just with the blessings of Swamiji, how he had taken care of them even after, at every step in the way. Swamiji had taken care of my pre-monastic parents, and ultimately, when it was the right time, Swamiji blessed my pre-monastic father with Videha Mukti, with Antima Sannyasa, with Sayujya Mukti, and with Kailasa Padavi. All these terms, many of us have heard in satsangs, all these terms, many of us have heard, in scriptures and Hindu scriptures, but just I was a personal witness when Swamiji blessed my pre-monastic father with Videha Mukti, ultimate liberation at the time of death, with Antima Sannyas, the sannyas initiation at the time of death, with Sayujya Mukti, his being just merging into the superconsciousness of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and Kailasa Padavi, the eternal residence in Kailasa. That is what Swamiji blessed. And in the next part, I would like to share with you the sequence of events as it happened on the 20th of March, yesterday morning, how it all happened. I would like to share with all of you after a short break.
Once, Arunagiri Yogeshwara, my guru, gave me an instruction and then he asked, "Will you do it?" I was shocked. I immediately folded my hands and said, "You are God, you are Shiva. How can I not do what you say?" He laughed and said, "No, only if you know I am the guru who is going to make you experience God, you need to listen to me." Understand? The most powerful cognition is God is guru to make you realize you are God. Only then you will achieve enlightenment. Guru is the manifest form of Paramashiva. Paramashiva is unmanifest source of Guru.
So I would like to narrate the exact sequence of events that happened that led to the mukti, the liberation of Kailasamaya. So my pre-monastic father was aged around 73 years of age, and about 2 weeks back he was tested COVID positive, and he was having terrible body ache. And at one point his oxygen levels came very low, so he had to be admitted in a hospital. So they were able to find a hospital to admit from. And my pre-monastic mother, because she is an initiated disciple, devotee of Swamiji, she was in messaging Swamiji and receiving the blessings and healing blessings for my pre-monastic father. And Swamiji has been directly attending to her and blessing, and he said he will take care. Now, yesterday morning, the Bhava Samadhi Darshan, the Devi Parashakti Bhava Samadhi Darshan was actually about to start. And it was around 7 a.m. in the morning. And it was at that time I got a message from Swamiji's secretary telling that, Swamiji said he will take care of your Purvashram father. Not that you are worried, but just wanted to pass on the message to you. And I know my pre-monastic mother was messaging Swamiji and receiving the blessing, so I wasn't, very concerned at all. And suddenly, all of a sudden, I got a message. I took it as like a general reassurance. So I just passed on the message to Swamiji, and the darshan, the Devi Parashakti Akashic reading was actually about to start. So I was just getting ready for it. I just forwarded the message saying that Swamiji is taking care, no need to worry, to my pre-monastic mother. So then what happened is the darshan got over, and and around 8:30 a.m. in the morning, my pre-monastic brother had messaged me. He actually lives in the US. It so happened that he took a flight and he just arrived yesterday morning in India. And he messaged me saying that the doctors are saying that Kailasa condition is very critical. They have rushed him to the ICU and they are resuscitating him. And they informed the family to urgently come to the hospital. So I immediately passed a message to Swamiji, and I got a response back immediately saying that Swamiji is taking care. Swamiji will do what needs to be done. So I was like, first of all, I was not worried or concerned. I know what Swamiji is always there. So I just passed and wanted to update Swamiji. And as soon as I got the message, I called my pre-monastic family and I informed that Swamiji is taking care. There is no need to worry. So by then it was around 9 o'clock in the morning, and they were just reaching the hospital. As they were reaching the hospital, I got a message from Swamiji, reading as follows. I'm projecting the message on the screen. So this Swamiji directly messaged and he said, Jnanatma, I am attending to your Purvashram father. Tell your Purvashram mom, mostly he will relax. Okay, so we don't know anything. As of now, only thing that we know is, my pre-monastic father is in the ICU and his condition is critical. And this was the first message I actually got directly from Swamiji, saying that mostly your father will relax. I will be I will be there right now with him. Tell her not to worry. You also don't worry. He has done all his responsibilities. He is relaxed. Tell your Purvashram brother too. Please understand how Swamiji, just literally at that moment, okay, he was just there. He prepared and he's preparing each and every one of us, and he's there literally taking care of my pre-monastic father. I was so touched when I got this message from Swamiji. First, he said, mostly he will relax, and I am there with him now. And tell your mom not to worry. You don't worry. Tell your Purvashram brother not to worry. And he is relaxed. This is the first, actually, I got this message first from Swamiji only. We have not heard anything from the doctors so far. And as we got this message, that was when my pre-monastic family, my pre-monastic brother and mother reached the hospital. And we actually heard about Kailasamaya leaving the body first from Swamiji, even before the doctors informed us. Then what happened is, at that time, that is when my brother met with the doctor, and the doctor said that your father has passed away. And, I was on the call with my pre-monastic mother telling, don't worry, Swamiji is taking care. He is there. He is relaxed. And immediately my pre-monastic mother, of course, couldn't bear the shock. It was unexpected, definitely. He was 73 years of age, however, it was still unexpected for her. And so she started crying. And immediately Swamiji said, I want to talk to your pre-monastic mother. So I was able to connect Swamiji on the phone call with my pre-monastic mother. So I was also on the line. And my pre-monastic mother started crying and, expressing her pain and anguish and suffering and her sorrow. And she was saying, Swamiji, you please take me also. Why should I be there? I have finished all my responsibilities. I have nothing else to do. You please liberate me also, Swamiji. I want to, go off as a Dirgha Sumangali. And she said, Swamiji, I got a boon from you that I will be a Dirgha Sumangali. Dirgha Sumangali means where till the end of the husband continues to live, and the wife dies before the husband leaves. Like basically, Dirgha Sumangali means you will never be a widow. That's what it means. So she told Swamiji on the phone that, Swamiji had blessed me to be a Dirgha Sumangali. I don't want to be like a widower. Let me also leave. And my son who has come, let him do the final rites of both his father and the mother. And please liberate me also. Please take me also with me to liberate me also. And I was on the phone call with my pre-monastic mother at that time. And I was like, oh God, I understood her situation, but Swamiji was on the line, and I didn't want her to take so much of Swamiji's time. So I intervened and I said, it's okay, don't worry. Swamiji is there. Swamiji will take care. You don't worry. And Swamiji was also on the phone call, and he said, Jnanatma, you keep quiet. And so I just shut my mouth. And then, my mother she just expressed herself. She just expressed her sorrow, her pain, and whatever she was going through, and the root shock that she had to face. And Swamiji didn't say anything. He just said, breathe ma. He was just listening. He was just listening. And then in the end of the call, the call was about to end. And Swamiji told me, Jnanatma, why don't you talk to the doctor and see if they can do some kind of resuscitating method, like giving an electric shock or something to bring the life back into the body. Can you speak to the doctors and see? And the call got over. Now, at this point, I wanted to share with all our viewers that when when my pre-monastic mother was talking, and directly Swamiji was attending to her, and Swamiji was talking to her. Later in the evening, after finishing all the formalities and all that, my pre-monastic mother went back to the house. Later in the evening, when I connected with her, that is when she told me that after she spoke to Swamiji, all her pain, after that, she, not one drop of tear, it fell from her. Just like the pain, the very root of pain and suffering was removed from her. That is when I understood. I was thinking, oh God, Swamiji is spending so much time on the call. I didn't want Swamiji's time to be wasted. And actually, Swamiji told at that time, Jnanatma, you keep quiet. And later on also, Swamiji told, you don't behave like a dry Vedanti, to your mother. You don't behave like that. So I understood to an extent. And then later on, when I spoke to my pre-monastic mother, only then I understood what Swamiji was doing, just providing, the listening, and just literally doing the samskara dahana kriya, removing all the pains, the suffering, the anguish, the sorrow that she could have gone through. And that is when I remembered in Inner Awakening, Swamiji gave a blessing to my mother. You have given your daughter to me. I will be a son to you. See, typically this kind of lamenting and crying and expressing ourselves, you will not sit and do with a guru, or you will not sit and do with a God. You will sit and do with your family members. You will sit and do with your son, or your immediate family. And that was who Swamiji was for my mother at that time. He was her son, just listening to her, expressing herself, just venting her out, so that all those suppressed emotions and that pain and suffering and sorrow leave once and for all. It impacted me so deeply in a way that every word that Swamiji gives, the extent to which Swamiji goes to fulfill that word, to fulfill that blessing, to fulfill that boon. At this time, Swamiji is handling so many different things, so many other responsibilities, so many different things. At this time, spending, so many minutes on the call, listening, because I could have listened to her, or my Purusham brother was there, he would have always said, okay, I'm liberating your father. That's all. But why Swamiji was on the call? The blessing that he gave her, the boon that he gave her, I will be a son to you. And just being that son at that moment when it was needed the most, that is when, living around Swamiji for many, many years, being his disciple and being a sannyas disciple, being personally trained by Swamiji, seeing Swamiji in so many different dimensions, in so many different situations. But this incident actually very deeply impacted me, that every word Swamiji is giving to every devotee. Sometimes, and many a times, the blessings that we receive, we take it for granted, or when Swamiji says, I'll be with you, or, we understand. But we only understand it to a certain extent. But the integrity to which Swamiji holds every blessing, every boon that he gives, every word that he utters to his disciples, the very understanding clicked in me in a much deeper level after this incident. So then after we spoke, and then Swamiji immediately after this call, Swamiji immediately messaged and said, I'm resting. I am relaxing him, your father, your pre-monastic father right now. Still, he has not crossed the causal body. Still, he has not crossed the causal body, and he is resting and he is relaxing. This is what Swamiji immediately messaged. Then, as I was reading this message, I got a call from my Swamiji secretary telling that Swamiji is telling, if you can talk to the doctors and ask them if they can do any kind of a resuscitation method, like revival methods, like giving a shock, because he has still not left the body completely. He has not left the causal body. So it is possible to bring him back. So at this time, I spoke to the doctor directly and I told them that, is it possible? Can you try? I know you have tried everything. Can you try all the possible methods, even if it is some kind of an electric shock or something, what you can do to revive. And that is when the doctors actually told me, madam, it was 9 o'clock in the morning at that time. They said, madam, it's already too late. Your father passed away at 7 o'clock itself, 7 a.m. in the morning. And we have tried all possible methods to all the possible procedures. As for the procedure, we have tried everything. And, he is not responding. And that is when they exactly said, your father passed away at 7 o'clock. And that is exactly when I had gotten a message from Swamiji saying, I am taking care of your Purashram father. Out of the blue, because I did not send him any message at that time. Just out of the blue, Swamiji himself connected and he sent a message saying, I am taking care of your Purashram father at 7 a.m., exactly the time when his soul was, leaving the body, was getting ready to leave the body or just getting prepared to leave the body. That is when Swamiji had messaged. So before any of us knew, before even the medical doctors knew, before even the doctors knew, the nurses knew, before even my family knew, Swamiji knew. And he had already said, I am there and I am taking care. So then what happened is I conveyed back to Swamiji that, they had tried all the possible methods and they could not, they are not able to revive him back. Then immediately Swamiji said, can they keep the phone near his ears? And it was, he was in that COVID ward and all that. So it was very strict in terms of protocol. Somehow my pre-monastic brother was able to talk to the doctors and he was allowed inside. So he took the phone inside and he kept the phone near the ears of my pre-monastic father as he was laying down. The doctors have already declared him dead and they kept the phone near his ears. I was on the phone call and Swamiji was on the phone call on the other end. So I was holding the phone here and the phone was kept near the ears of my father. And Swamiji started the mantras. And Swamiji said the Mahavakyas. And I was sitting and continuously Swamiji was chanting on the phone, the Mahavakyas, Ham Brahmasmi, the Mahavakya Tattvamasi, and Prajnanam Brahma. Swamiji was just chanting all the Mahavakyas on the phone. Continuously he was chanting. And I was on the call listening to Swamiji's chant. And literally, I could see like the phone was vibrating. The phone was literally vibrating, and I could just see a gush of energy. I could just feel intense presence of Swamiji. Where I was, I could feel an intense presence of Swamiji just getting transmitted through the phone. Like literally, if you get an energy darshan through the phone, how you will feel. That is exactly how I felt. Such an intense gush of energy. Continuously that the Swamiji's voice and that mantra and the Mahavakyas just reverberating. I could just see Swamiji just pushing that experience through the mantras into that being. That is exactly what I felt. He was just transmitting that experience through a phone call to that being which is already left the physical body and is in the different layers of the body. The soul is now leaving. In that process, Swamiji is just giving the initiation through the phone. And it was an experience. It was a totally different experience, something which I have never seen or experienced or witnessed so far. So Swamiji gave the Mahavakyopadesha, the Mantropadesha on the phone. Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. Continuously, not just once, like continuously Swamiji was chanting. And maybe a few other mantras. I don't remember. I was totally blanked out. I could only feel Swamiji's intense presence and Swamiji just gushing into that other being. And I was on the line just witnessing. And on the other end, what was going on inside me is, why Swamiji is doing so much? Swamiji doesn't have to do so much. It's, I really felt like, why Swamiji is doing so much to that being? And I was like, Swamiji, I was literally overwhelmed with Swamiji's love and compassion at that time. I just couldn't even fathom, I couldn't even handle it. That was what was going on inside me. Coming on the phone and talking to my mother itself, I felt was too much for why Swamiji has to do all this. Then next coming and, the person who has left the body or at least declared dead as per the doctors, keeping the phone on his ears, chanting the Mahavakyas and it was just too much I just felt extremely overwhelmed with Swamiji's love and compassion at that time, just being available in every which possible way. In every which possible way, what are all the things Swamiji can do and be available, Swamiji was there at that moment. And after Swamiji finished the initiation on the phone. Immediately, Swamiji sent him. He didn't say anything else. He only chanted the mantras on the phone, and then the call was completed. And then Swamiji messaged me immediately. He said, I took care. He just beautifully received sannyas and relaxed. Now he is a Purna sannyas. I gave him Antim sannyas and Mahavakyopadesham and relaxed him. He repeated when I gave him the Mahavakya and relaxed. I was just reading and rereading and rereading and trying to just cognize what Swamiji has just said. The being who had left the body, nobody was there at that time when that being left the body except Swamiji. Whether it was at 7 o'clock when the being was about to leave the body or even now, and at a time where we are, for all of us, we are only seeing that physically is declared dead, that's all. But Swamiji connected with that being, that because that being still has not left the 7 layers of the body and connected, and at that most crucial moment gave him the Mahavakyopadesham and gave him the Antima Sannyas. I will now be sharing what is Antima Sannyas. Sannyas at the time of an extreme, like at the time of death, right? It's called Antima Sannyas, and gave him the Mahavakyopadesham. And in one of the satsangs, actually, Swamiji had referred to the Mandukya Upanishad. In Mandukya Upanishad, it says, Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knowledge about the Brahman, even if it is at an intellectual level, even if it has not become your realization of the physical world, the very knowledge, the jnana, the logical understanding about Brahman itself makes you that. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. Brahmaveda Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knowledge of the Brahman makes you that. The knowledge of the consciousness makes you that. And it guarantees Videha Mukti. Means it guarantees Kailasa when you leave the body. This is a direct reference from Mandukya Upanishad. Now I'm just going back to the mantras that Swamiji chanted. Look at the mantras, the Mahavakyopadesha that Swamiji showered on my pre-monastic father at that time. Prajnanam Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. Tattvamasi Aham Brahmasmi. Giving that exact knowledge of the Brahman to that soul at the time of leaving the body. At the time of leaving the body, giving the ultimate knowledge and receiving that ultimate knowledge makes you one with that ultimate, and giving him the ultimate liberation, Videha Mukti, Kailasa, when leaving the body. This is exactly what Swamiji said, did, and transmitted, not just gave the knowledge as a mantra or as an intellectual understanding, but as an experience transmitted through the usage of mantras at that time, giving him the mantropadesha, and through that transmission which happened through Swamiji's presence made him experience Videha Mukti, gave him the ultimate Kailasa Padavi at the time of leaving the body. So Swamiji said, I've given him Purna Sannyas, I gave him Antima Sannyas, Mahavakyopadesham, and relaxed him. He repeated when I gave the Mahavakya, and he beautifully relaxed. And Swamiji said, I took care. He just beautifully received sannyas and relaxed. Now he is Purna Sannyas. I gave him Antima Sannyas and Mahavakyopadesham and relaxed him. He repeated when I gave him the Mahavakya and relaxed. A short brief about what is Antima Sannyas. In Hindu tradition, there is a process called Antima Sannyas, means teaching them to do completion with everything. At the time of death, teaching that being to complete with anything and everything. So actually, that Antima Sannyas is what Adi Shankaracharya took. Adi Shankaracharya, a great incarnation of Paramashivam, when his mother was not allowing him to embrace the path of sannyas, not allowing him to take sannyas, Adi Shankaracharya did a big drama. He is an incarnation. So he manifested a scene where one crocodile, when he was in the river, one crocodile came and it caught his leg while he was taking bath in the river. And he screams, oh, mother, 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 you allow me to take sannyas, at least now let me die as a sannyasi. Because the crocodile has caught his leg and he's a small 8-year-old boy. And he's shouting, at least let me die as a sannyasi. Anyway, this crocodile is going to kill me. Let me at least die as a sannyasi. I will be in peace. Allow me to take Antima Sannyas. Then his mother also feels, all right, this fellow was asking for sannyas all the time. I never allowed him, but now he is going to die anyway. At least let him die with the satisfaction that he is a sannyasi. And she allows him to have the antima sannyas. Now, in Hindu civilization, sannyas is very, very, very easy. You see, in some civilizations, marriage is very easy. In some civilizations, sex is very easy. In some civilizations, divorce is very easy. In Vedic tradition, sannyas is very easy. If you just declare 3 times, Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo, Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo, Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo, let my presence be a refuge to all the beings. Abhayam, let me give refuge to Sarvabhutebhyo, to all the living beings. Let my presence not be a threat to anybody. I am giving the ultimate protection, Abhayam, fearlessness to every living being that is out there. So when you repeat this, Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo, Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo, Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo 3 times, you are embracing sannyas. So Adi Shankaracharya declares Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo 3 times, and he takes Antima sannyas. And that very moment he took Antima sannyas, the crocodile disappeared. And ultimately it was Leela, a divine Leela that Adi Shankaracharya played to complete his mother so that she would agree for him to take the sannyas. And this is exactly what Swamiji had blessed my pre-monastic father also. Swamiji said, tell your mother, I am Paramashiva. I won't lie to her in this crisis. I am Arunachaleshwara. I relaxed him into Kailasa. He should just relax. She is a Dirgha Sumangali. This is exactly what Swamiji said. Because he is not dead or he did not take another birth, he is with me, in me now. The boon I gave to your mother is not a lie or a waste. He is not dead. She is Dirgha Sumangali, because that was her main concern, like saying, I don't want to live like a widower. I don't want to live like that. I want to be a Dirgha Sumangali. And Swamiji had blessed her at that time. So Swamiji said, she is indeed a Dirgha Sumangali even today. Send all this message as a screenshot to her. Try to get this audio recording. This is the first time I gave Mahavakya, the Sannyas Diksha, through phone remotely. Tell your mom, they all served me. I won't lie to her during this crisis. I am Arunachaleshwara. I liberated him fully. He is in Sayujya, means ultimate oneness. He is just merged into me. He is in Sayujya with me. Just being a witness to this moment. One side, my eternal father, my Guru. On the other side, my Purvashram father, my pre-monastic father. And just being, and I'm in the middle witnessing my eternal father liberating my pre-monastic father. It was an ultimate experience of a lifetime. I did not expect any of this. I just wanted, Swamiji saying Swamiji is taking care. That's all. But the way Swamiji took care, it just overwhelmed me with so much of, he just literally poured so much of love and compassion, made himself available. Continuously he was available and sending messages and saying that, he has fully liberated him and he is in Sayujya with him. And Swamiji further, he also said, what a death. Actually, all of you should be jealous of him. What liberation. He received the Mahavakya fully and left to Kailasa. Tell your mom, Yanatma, after eating our food, I blessed she will be a Dirgha Sumangali. So it is true blessings. He is not dead. He is liberated. He is liberated. So your mom is a Dirgha Sumangali. So first, the boon that Swamiji gave, the blessing that Swamiji gave, you gave your daughter to me, I will be a son to you. He was there listening to her and allowing her to just complete and express all her suppressed emotions and pain. That was the one boon that Swamiji fulfilled. Here, the second boon that Swamiji gave, that I had blessed you to be a Dirgha Sumangali. I will ensure you are a Dirgha Sumangali. Even today she is a Dirgha Sumangali, because she will be a Dirgha Sumangali, because he is eternally residing in Kailasa. He is not dead. He is liberated. And Swamiji said, I am Arunachaleshwara. I am Paramashiva. I will not lie to you during this. See, the amount of, like, how much the Swamiji is attending to each and every aspect of the devotee. At that time, it was such a critical moment. Swamiji just made himself available and literally showered us, overwhelmed us with Swamiji's love and compassion. It was just unbelievable. And Swamiji further said, even my grandfather wasn't able to receive Mahavakya from me directly. Sami nandri marakadu. Nindri enrandrum kaku. I did what a guru should do and God should do. Both to him now. I gave what I gave to my dad. Antima Sannyas and Mahavakya and liberation. Swami Nandri Marakadu means Swamiji will never forget the good things that was done to me. Nindru enrendrum kakum. I will be there. I will stand and protect you forever. I did what a guru should do. I did what a God should do. Both to him now. I gave him what I gave to my dad. So as a son, what he did, also Swamiji did to my pre-monastic father. As a guru, as a God, as a son. Gave him the Antima Sannyasa, the Mahavakya, and ultimately Jivan, the Videha Mukti, the liberation. I gave to him what I gave to my dad, Antima Sannyasa, Mahavakya, and liberation. This soul, this being, which had taken millions and millions and millions of births, birth and death and birth and death and birth and death, finally was liberated from the cycle of birth and death and achieved the ultimate purpose of human life. The ultimate purpose of existence is enlightenment, liberation. And that being, with the extreme compassion of Swamiji, in his presence, completed with all the baggages, Swamiji exhausted all the karmas, removed all the karmas, cut off all the bondages of that being, gave the Mahavakya Upadesha to that being at the time of death, burnt away all the karmas, all the bondages, and ultimately blessed that being with liberation. A soul takes millions of births before it even has a human body. And in the human body, the soul takes millions of births before it can be ready to even have a guru in our life. That is why Adi Shankaracharya and the Viveka Chudamani, he says, Manushyatva. There are three things which are most difficult to attain. Manushyatva, having a human body. Mumukshutva, having the intense seeking to experience the ultimate. And Mahapurusha Samshaya, having the nearness of an enlightened being. These three are the most difficult to get. And when you have these three, when you have a human body, when you have the seeking awakened, that also awakened only because of the grace and the blessings of the Guru. And the Mahapurusha Samshaya, when you have the supreme pontiff of Hinduism, Swamiji, as your Guru, you don't have to worry about anything else. That is the reassurance that Swamiji is giving to each and every one of us. And that is the message that I want to share with each and every one of us. When Swamiji says, I am there at the time of your death, every being who has experienced, who has attended the NSP program, every being who has attended Inner Awakening, every being which has experienced that death process with Swamiji, Swamiji assures, says, at the time of your death, I will be there. Wherever you are, I will be there. And it so happened that in the case of my pre-monastic father, at the time of his death, his relatives could not be there. His wife could not be near him. His children could not be near him. His son could not be near him. Nobody could be near him. There was only one being who could be near him, which was his Guru, which was Swamiji. None of us even knew that he was going through this. We were all thinking he was in a hospital and he was being, in a ventilator or whatnot. Swamiji knew. Swamiji knew that it is time for that being to experience the ultimate purpose of human life. And it was only Swamiji who was there at that being when that being needed the most. It is not the properties that we have, or it's not the money that we have, or it's not the relatives,